gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
A man charged with 3 counts of attempted murder following an hours-long standoff with police where shots were fired is released from jail on his own recognizance. Christopher Smith was arrested after the 12-hour standoff on...
Woo! And this is a thug max alpha simp if I've ever seen one. Bro crashed out on the police, got in a shootout with them, charged with attempted murder, and is let out on an OR bond. Now, obviously, this has to be the work of some woke judge and woke prosecutors. Otherwise, this guy, would still be in prison. But unfortunately, we've come to a point in this country where the laws are not being enforced. And I think that is a huge issue because you have guys like this who are dangerous and are ending up on the streets. And, what are we to do about this? What changes can we make so that this doesn't happen? Well, you got to have the people in positions of power to actually just have some common sense and stop all these individuals from skirting accountability by being put back onto the streets after committing violent crimes.
On November 11th, he was released from jail with no bond by Judge Bill Anderson. During the standoff, police say Smith threatened to kill the officers and fired shots at them. His mother told police Smith was a veteran and dealing with mental illness. We asked District Attorney Steve Morroy about the release.
Well, we definitely disagree with the judge's decision in this case. We opposed the release on the defendant's own recognizance. We asked that the $200,000 bond, I believe, stay in effect. And as a matter of fact, we will be appealing that decision by filing a writ of certiorari to the relevant criminal court.
Hate to hear this. Sydney Gray live in South Memphis with new details about this stabbing, including the reason why police say it all happened. Good morning, Sydney.
Good morning, Andrew and Ari. Well, this is a story that really makes you want to be extra aware of your surroundings. It happened at this McDonald's just yesterday afternoon here at the McDonald's off Tresvant. And we know that according to police, well, that woman was just placing an order at the speaker box in this drive-thru when she says that someone approached her asking for money. And when that person didn't get the answer they wanted, well, they stabbed her in the face. As I mentioned,
Damn!
It happened yesterday afternoon.
So this is the temperature in Memphis, guys. So if you are in the Memphis area, you better be vigilant. You better be making sure that you are not in the vicinity of these violent individuals who are completely crashing out at this point. I mean, we are having a complete and utter breakdown of any type of civility in the community as a whole. And obviously this is embarrassing. This is upsetting. This is something that we shouldn't have to deal with in the community, where someone asks you for money and you reject them and then they stab you. This should never happen. But we got some cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs people who are absolutely still out here on the streets, and the Memphis leadership is not helping to make any of this any better. As a matter of fact, I would even say they're making it worse by releasing people on OR bonds. And hey, what are the chances of this woman being released on an OR bond? It's pretty likely, since they got the other guy released. So we really need to be paying attention to this stuff, and I don't really know what you can do except get these people out of power. Whether it be by election or, some other means. But this these decisions that are being made in the streets on an everyday basis in the community are contributing to our downfall. These super sister gremlins are on demon time.
Early about 4 p.m. And according to a police report, the victim said she was at the speaker box placing that order at McDonald's when the suspect, 39-year-old Ashley Davis, approached her window asking for money. Well, the victim told Davis she didn't have any. That is when she says Davis pulled out what appeared to be a screwdriver and then stabbed her in the face. Well, the victim even told police that Davis said, quote, "You should have had some money," before walking away from the parking lot. Well, MPD says Davis then started running on Lamar, trying to get away from officers, but they eventually did catch up to her. Police say she resisted, kicking officers upon being arrested. Well, as for the victim, she was treated here on scene by emergency responders, and she's expected to be okay. Well, that suspect, Davis, she is expected in Shelby County Court later this morning, so we'll of course be following that. And in the next half hour, we're going to tell you more about other crimes that have happened here just as recently as last week. I'm live here in Orange Mound. Sydney Gray, Action News 5.
Armed robbers targeted 2 construction workers in Wilson's Mills. This happened just before 7 o'clock Monday morning. Now, police are warning companies about the growing problem of theft at construction sites. WR's Carly Haynes is live in Wilson's Mills. And Carly, these crimes could affect the timing of new home construction.
Gerald, it's costly as well, and that's proven in these incident reports that we received from the police department. Johnson County has dozens of these construction sites, and oftentimes they're left unattended. That's why police departments are digging for solutions. A housing boom in Johnston County is building up a trend: theft at construction sites.
It's a problem everywhere. When you construction sites, you have high value equipment, tools, and you just have lumber.
So, you know, when we talk about a housing crisis and supplies going up and just the limitation of supply in housing, you also have to talk about the day-to-day and how these projects are managed and the things that they have to deal with, including the theft of copper tubing, which increases the price and the investment that they're putting into these new construction builds. All of these factors contribute to investors not wanting to invest in your area. So when you talk about a housing desert or food desert or something like that, when you are allowing this type of criminality, you know, these petty thefts, which may seem petty to the perpetrator, but in all actuality, these things cost these developers, and they have a budget and they have a set price that they're trying to get in and out of projects for. So if you're hindering with that by stealing from these developers, then you can damn sure count on there being a housing shortage in your neighborhoods because of that. So, I mean, there's so many different aspects of as to why the community is in the place that they are. And, you know, people don't want to invest in these areas, in these communities that, quite frankly, are not safe to invest in, and they're getting raked over the coals because they're not able to secure their investments.
Wilson's Mills police chief says at this Coal Road site Monday morning, thieves stole copper tubing from this container, then tried robbing workers at gunpoint.
Damn.
For them to brandish a gun, that was totally unexpected. We had not seen that in our community.
An incident report states the workers are with Kenneth West Incorporated. We reached out but didn't hear back. Police think the path to the thieves starts with this saw they left behind. Criminals are after expensive metals, according to security company Guardiex.
So I think a lot of it is just trying to find a way for them, the criminals, to make it easy opportunity to gain access to all of these valuable pieces of equipment and they sell it on the black market and make money.
A copper tube can cost a company thousands. That's why GuardiX President Jeffrey Tanksley provides guards to sites in and around Wake County.
They pushed it back through 4 months, and it's costly to them because they have a set budget.
While police look for the suspects, they hope to prevent future problems by having construction sites buy into the department's camera network.
It's twofold. It serves security for them to protect their materials and equipment, but also it helps the community.
And once again, police are looking for these suspects. They believe these suspects are 2 men in their early 20s. They request that the public report any suspicious behavior. Carly Haynes, WRL News, live at Wilson's Mills.
Are investigating the death of a 21-year-old man as a homicide. According to police, officers came to a shooting here at the 2300 block of Hernando near Norris Road in South Memphis just before 1:20 in the morning this past Friday.
So we see robberies of construction sites. We see people getting stabbed at McDonald's. We see people getting robbed at gunpoint at construction sites. And now we see the murder of a 21-year-old locksmith who was lured to this location and robbed. And in this case, the victim was a Jewish man. And the Jewish community is coming down hard on the community for this murder. So there's not much video coverage on it. We've got some articles that shed light into how the family is looking at this homicide, but it's not looking good for the community. And you know, it's almost a moment of y'all done it now. So remember we covered the story of the billionaire's granddaughter who was raped and murdered in Memphis. And we thought that was the moment. That is the moment that we're going to see a heavy hand come down on Memphis and the criminality coming from the black community specifically. But it didn't happen. And Memphis is now infinitely worse than it was at that time. And now you have the murder of a young Israeli man, and the family is looking to press hate crime charges and looking at this as a hate crime and a hate crime investigation. And although I personally don't believe this was a hate crime, I think that black people can't really tell the difference between Jews and white people. So I don't really think they targeted him because of his faith. You know, because ethnically he is most likely Eastern European. But the way that the family is pushing for this might become a reality just based off of the fact that the Jewish community has a lot of influence in our political sphere as of today. So, community, y'all done it now. These super gremlins are demon time.
21-year-old Aviv Broek was pronounced dead at the scene, and residents in the area say they are extremely concerned.
I was saddened by it. I feel like for this area, this has actually been a quiet area since I've been staying here. I know the expectation for our community is that it's a lot of violence and everything, but actually it's a quiet area. So to have someone get killed next door was very unfortunate, and it's actually made me uncomfortable with staying here.
Now, despite social media posts right now, police say there is no indication of a hate crime, but they are pursuing all leads. No arrests have been made so far.
So police are saying no indication of a hate crime, but the family, they don't care. They are out for vengeance. They want to avenge their son, and the community is not careful and more selective. You know, although we do not support black on black crime, it seems like that is an issue that's not going to be directly addressed. But once you start weeding out or leaking out and targeting other groups, this is why I cover the interracial crimes, because that's what gets people's attention, and that is what unfortunately it looks like it's going to bring the hammer down on the community.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
All right, guys, so we have ABC 24 reporting family of Israeli man shot to death in South Memphis wants hate crime investigations. Memphis Police Department says there's no indication of such crime, but it doesn't matter. These Jewish family members want to fabricate a motive when most likely the motive was financial. It was a robbery. They robbed him and they saw he was green. Maybe he put up a fight and they shot and killed him. This is pretty much standard jugging in the black community. But when it leaks out to other communities, when he's lured to this location, when he's set up, that is when people start to notice. And although the police department may say there's no indication of hate crime, the family might push so hard and they might get their way on this one just because of the influence that they have. So the family of an Israeli man killed in a South Memphis shooting on Friday said they want the FBI to investigate the death as a hate crime. But police said there is no indication of such a crime in a statement released Monday, November 25th. Memphis police responded to the shooting November 22nd. Just before 1:30 a.m. in the 2300 block of Hernando Road, officers found a man dead. Investigators identified the man as 21-year-old Aviv Broek. In a statement released the following Monday, Broek's family said the man was a British Israeli murdered while working as a locksmith and responding to a fake call. They also said his Israeli passport was missing. We demanded an immediate FBI investigation and that this be investigated as a hate crime. They said, our son was murdered as a Zionist Jew visiting America, and we wonder if Zionists are safe in America. So I understand the concern of anti-Semitism in the country, which allegedly has been on the rise because of the conflict on the Gaza Strip. But here's the thing. You can't just fabricate a motive. This was not a hate crime. Nobody knew he was a Zionist Jew. Black people look at Jewish people as white. And I'm not trying to be prejudiced or racist or anti-Semitic. I'm just giving you the reality that black people don't really see a difference between white people and Jewish people. I'm sorry to break it to you. They literally look the same. And the only way that you would ever know that they were different if one was wearing a suit and a small hat and the other was not. So I really don't think this play is legitimate. And if they keep pushing for the hate crime and then the prosecutors actually fulfill that charge and try and charge him with a hate crime, you can get the whole case pretty much, I'm not going to say completely dismissed, but you can put some reasonable doubt into the minds of a jury of your peers, because that's how it works in this country. A jury of your peers, there might be a shadow of a doubt, reasonable doubt, however you want to say it, within that case, because they are pushing for a charge that is not there. Two things can be true at the same time, right? This guy is a Zionist Jew. Yes, that's fine. Nobody has a problem with that. The other thing that can be true is that the community, the people in this community, believed that he was holding, he has some money, and they committed an evil act against this man. But that doesn't mean that they did it because of his religion or ethnic background or whatever. They just said, hey, I hate to say it like this, but to them, to these Thug Max Alpha Simps, to these guys who are super gremlins on demon time. To them, they say, I mean, this is just a soft ass white dude, and we just finna rob him. He's green. He don't know this area. He don't know where he's going. You know, he's trying to do his job, thinking he's doing the right thing, and ends up having his life taken, which is, it's a horrible thing. But I genuinely don't even believe that the people who robbed and killed him even know what a Semite or being anti-Semitic is in general. In the first place, I'm just going to go out on a limb. And I shouldn't be ridiculed for saying this because, you know, the Democrats believe that black people can't get IDs, that we don't have access to the internet. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to say, hey, these brothers or sisters that robbed this individual, they don't know what being anti-Semitic is, or they don't know what Semitic people are, and they could care less. They can't point out Israel or the Gaza Strip on a map. So I don't think that's the motive here, but I understand the vengeance of a grieving family, and I think that more families should be involved in the prosecution process of their afflicted family members, perpetrators. On the same day, MPD officials said there is no indication of a hate crime right now. Investigators are looking at all leads. No arrests have been made as of yet. You can read the family's full statement below. So let's read the statement and we'll get up out of here. Aviv Broek is a 21-year-old British Israeli who was murdered early Friday morning in Memphis, Tennessee. He was murdered while working as a locksmith, shot when called to a fake call late at night. His Israeli passport is missing. The Kansas City police have provided zero information to date. I don't know what they mean by Kansas City police, because this obviously happened in Memphis. So maybe they're confused on that. We demand an immediate FBI investigation and that this be investigated as a hate crime. Our son was murdered as a Zionist Jew visiting America, and we wonder if Zionists are safe in America. Is this connected to the Shabbat rabbi who was killed in the UAE? We are devastated. Lord, have mercy. And I understand your head spinning. You're looking at any angle and thinking conspiracy and thinking conspiratorial first, and trying to rule out any type of I don't know, terrorist threat, but this ain't it. I mean, honestly, man, I mean, I genuinely, I think that they're being genuine in this statement. In my opinion, it's in very poor taste. It really is, to try and politicize this and make this about the war and look, man, you know, ninjas die every day, B. That's kind of the sentiment over here, especially on this channel, and that's kind of how we rock over here. So to say that this was, could this be connected to the killing of Shabbat rabbi in the UAE? You're talking about one of the hoodest parts in Memphis. Got connections to some terrorist organization like Hamas and all this kind of stuff. Look, man, you're off base on this one, family. I definitely feel for your loss, but you know, let's not try and, if you're gonna politicize this, talk about the lack of policing in Memphis. Talk about you know, just the complete stand down of police officers that has been a forced stand down. Talk about the miscarriage of justice, like these judges letting multiple time offenders out on OR bonds. I mean, I'm pretty sure the people who did this probably had a previous and recent criminal history, and they most likely were also out on some type of OR bond. So make it about that if you're going to politicize it, but to try and make it seem like some ninjas in the hood who robbed your son, luring him to a fake locksmith call, is some grand conspiracy done by, you know, the Islamic Brotherhood or some Muslim caliphate. I mean, your head is in the clouds right now. We want to know if the Israeli government needs to advise Zionists not to visit America. A Chabad rabbi was killed in the UAE, and an Israeli Zionist was murdered as a locksmith in the U.S. There is a global jihad taking place against the Jews today, and we demand to know if the Intifada was globalized to Memphis. We haven't heard from the police, nor have we heard from the British government or the Israeli government, or for that matter, the American government. Are we safe? ? Said Ortal Edri Halatsi. So there you have it. The family think it's some Muslim Brotherhood Intifada conspiracy to eliminate Jews globally. And Jinquavius' expert opinion is that y'all are wrong, dead wrong. This is simply a case of these super gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.